Okay, a video about repairing my pair of binoculars. They're a decent quality pair, so they were worth repairing. They got dropped, unfortunately, and dislodged one of the prisms, and they never go back in exactly in the right place, but I stuck the prism back in place with a bit of JB Weld. You only need 4 little blobs, one on each corner. But they had a bit of vision error. You know, the usual thing with binoculars when they get knocked out of line. You see two objects, and it's not very nice. So I found out if you could, and there are ways of adjusting the prisms, and some binoculars have little screws that you can find underneath that material that's covering the body of the binocular. But it means butchering the material to find the little screw. I found a much simpler way of doing the adjustments. If you slacken the big lenses at the end, you may find there's a sweet spot. If you just slacken each one, maybe you can get away with just one at a time, or in my case I had to do two. I had to adjust them both together until you find that sweet spot when everything comes into line. What I do is I keep a bit of downward pressure on them as I'm tightening, so they're always on the sort of same plane. And when I find the spot where when both of them are in the correct spot, and you just see one object when you look through them, I'll put a little dot of white. That's correction fluid, little white dot of correction fluid, and that's the sweet spot. And then just get a little bit of paper, because there's a little gap forms between where the lens body screws off, and it's only a little gap, and just put a little gap between the lens and the main body of the binocular. As I say, you want to have it so it's when the lens is tilting down, when its weight is keeping it down, so that's when a gap will form at the top there. Just get yourself a little bit of paper, keep it in place, fold it up a few times. You might have to vary the thickness, the number of folds, and just tighten the lens up on that piece of paper. You can trim it off afterwards. It doesn't have to be paper. You might be able to find something more suitable. I was going to use a little thin piece of string. And just tighten it up till you get the little white spot at the top of the binocular, or whichever you've used as your datum. Tighten them up. And mine are perfect now. So that one, if that paper was to be taken out, the lens would be quite slack, and I'd probably be able to turn it maybe another half a turn so it nips up. Likewise with that one's slightly looser, slightly fatter paper in there. But I've got binoculars again now that are perfectly in line. I'll get rid of that paper, I'll trim that off, and I'm quite happy with that. Probably still be able to see it a bit, but that won't bother me. Anyway, I hope that helps anyone if you've got a pair of binoculars and you're getting double vision. Bye for now.